Welcome to Porte ISD and thank you for being here. It is now 7:04 p.m. Tuesday, August 13th, 2024, and I hereby call this meeting to order. Notice of this meeting was posted in the manner required by law at 5 p.m. Friday, August 9th. The Board of Trustees of the LaPorte Independent School District is now convened. Let the record show Trustee Thompson is unable to attend this meeting, but she has received a copy of the agenda and is aware of the items therein. The remaining 6 trustees are present, and a quorum is present. As the LaPorte ISD Board of Trustees, every student's success is our #1 priority. We are here to set goals, adopt policy, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and communicate the district's vision and success to the community. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operation of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. School board meetings are open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. However, the audience participation is limited to the patron presentation portion of the meeting, and board members may not respond to those comments made in the public comment section. These proceedings may be recorded, and I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking. At this time, will you please stand for the presentation of colors led by the LaPorte High School ROTC. Tonight we have Cadet Dylan Thatcher, Cadet Everardo Garcia, Cadet Mahina Chesbro, and Cadet Kaylee Bailey. You'll join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Ready, seat. Raise up. Arms. Order. Arms. Center. Face. Mark time. Mark. Forward. March.
Tonight's invocation will be given by Trustee Melissa Crutcher.
If you would, please bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have made. As it stands, nearly 800 staff members have readied their schools and their minds for the return of over 7,000 students. We say that the best never rest, but my first big ask is that you give all of our staff and students a much-needed restful night to endure the excitement of the first day of school tomorrow. Lord, for some tomorrow is their very first day of school ever. For some it's the first day of another new school. For some it's the first day of their last year as a student or an educator. And no matter what the circumstances, I pray tomorrow is a memorable moment in their LP legacy journey. I pray that they feel seen, heard, loved, and safe, and that they know LP ISD is proud to be their home. Father, we are honored and humbled that you have entrusted us with the education and well-being of some of your most precious gifts. We ask for the hedge of protection that only you can provide. We ask that you help us feel the hearts as much as we feel minds. And lastly, Lord, we ask that you provide guidance and discernment to this team of 8 and all of our district leaders for the coming school year. And Lord, one last thing, as we come off the heaviness of the incident at school this evening, we ask that you pray over our student body and our student who was injured, and just to the healing hands of his caretakers and doctors, and bring him home safely to us. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
You may be seated. Welcome back. School's back in session, huh? So, I'm glad to have you here. We're going to move on to item 5, our board recognitions, and tonight's recognitions will be presented by Director of Communications, Mr. Adam Holland.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Can you hear me? Okay.
Look at this boardroom. Look at this boardroom. Over the past few weeks, Rocky Alanis and Alfredo Sanchez have spent much of their time in this boardroom. From floor to ceiling, you'll see the incredible job that they did remodeling here. Their attention to detail and commitment to quality have truly transformed the space, making it both functional and visually stunning. Your hard work and dedication to excellence are deeply appreciated. Thank you, gentlemen.
Can't sit down. No picture didn't happen. Up here? Thank you, guys.
When Hurricane Beryl made its final landfall in early July, it brought with it widespread damage and an unprecedented power outage in the Houston area. And through all of that, several of our employees kept Porte ISD as one of their top priorities. First, the business office. Now, despite the district being closed and experiencing power losses and damage at their own homes, these folks ensured that every district employee was paid on time. We're grateful to the business office for ensuring that we did not have to worry about our finances in the storm's aftermath. As I call your name, please come forward. Jackie McGee, bookkeeper. Cynthia Monte, payroll specialist. Lupe Laura, payroll specialist. Frankie Peru, coordinator of payroll and benefits. And Stacy, I was not going to leave you out. Sorry, not sorry. Stacy McDowell, Chief Financial Officer.
Thank you.
Now, when these violent storms happen, district facilities are not spared from being affected. Not only is it very important to assess damage by closely inspecting every building, repairs and cleanup are often required. We would like to thank our custodial and maintenance teams for ensuring that when the district did reopen, we returned to facilities that were not only clean, but in working order. Thank you all for your hard work and dedication. Representing maintenance and operations this evening are Mr. Jeff Wade, and Mr. Jason Elliott.
Thank you.
Twice each school year, the Harris County Department of Public Health inspects the LaPorte ISD kitchens and assigns grades. These comprehensive surprise inspections assess cleanliness, sanitation, time and temperature compliance, facility quality, and many other factors, including the staff's knowledge in these areas. The LaPorte ISD School Nutrition Department is devoted to providing the students of this community healthy, delicious meals that are produced in safe and clean environments. We're proud to report that last school year, LaPorte ISD cafeterias scored an average of 99 on these inspections across the district. This score is a direct result of the knowledge and dedication of LaPorte ISD's hardworking cafe managers and staff. Tonight, we honor the following managers for being among the best in their field. And tonight's Little League Baseball night, I understand, so there are a couple that may not be here. But first, Ms. Tara Austin. Leslie Calzadilla. Jeanette Campos. Candace Creighton. Sarai Jones. Diana Knowlton. Letha Maresca. Elvira Medina. Yahara Ornelas. Cheryl Reedy. Veronica Rivera. Stephanie Rodriguez. And finally, Nancy Webb.
Let's get Ralph.
Come on, Ralph. You're all dressed up. Ralph, don't go too far. As most people now know, breakfasts and lunches will be served at no cost to all LaPorte ISD students during the 2025 season. Such an initiative not only supports the nutritional needs of our children, but it will also provide much needed relief to family budgets. Further, it will prevent negative meal balances, which means cafeteria lines will move faster. The process to secure these meals through the National School Breakfast Program and National School Lunch Program was lengthy and arduous, but it was also a labor of love for Child Nutrition Director, Mr. Ralph Wilkins. Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you, sir. I'll help you out for those of you that are wondering if you can leave. Yes, you can leave. I know it's awkward. No one wants to be the first, but you're free to leave. We appreciate you.
It will be in your evaluation.
Yes.
I like having them.
We'll say it takes a village, and it's great to have these people part of our village, so. With that said, we're going to move to item 6, public comment. The board will now hear those who wish to make comments and who have completed and returned the public comment participation request. Do it. This section will be conducted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act and board policy. Complaints and/or concerns for which other resolution channels are provided shall be directed through those channels. Mr. Martin?
Mr. President, I believe we have no public comments this evening.
All right, let the record show that we have no speakers, so we're going to move on to item 7, and that's our administrative reports. Dr. Jackson, would you like to lead off?
Thank you, Mr. President. Board, you have a copy of my superintendent's report. I will not read that tonight publicly, but you have a copy of it for your records. At this time, though, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce to the board some of the new hires that we had over the summer as it relates to administration. And so I'm going to take just a few moments and introduce these folks, and I'll ask that you stand when I call your name so that the board will know exactly who you are. Some of you we've done before, but we want to make sure that we don't miss anybody. So at this time, the Bayshore Elementary new principal, Ms. Tammy King, would you please stand? Board, once again, I'm proud to introduce Ms. Tammy King as the new principal of Bayshore Elementary. Ms. King has served as an administrator in Porte ISD for 16 years, most recently as the assistant principal at Bayshore Elementary. Ms. King holds a bachelor's and master's degree from the University of Houston Clear Lake. Please join me in welcoming Ms. King to her new role at Bayshore. Ms. King, do you have a guest?
I have a guest. He's so glad to see me.
There you go.
I'd like to introduce my husband, Stephen King. I'm married 33 years.
Oh, wow.
All of them.
All right.
I got a feeling he got voluntold.
Next, I'd like to recognize Miss Stephanie Davis. Miss Stephanie Davis is the new principal at Jenny Reed Elementary. Miss Davis has most recently served as the assistant principal at Jenny Reed, and we look forward to her continued leadership in her new role. Ms. Davis, a LaPorte graduate, has served as a teacher and an administrator in our district for 16 years. She holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Houston Clear Lake and a master's degree from the University of St. Thomas. We look forward to Ms. Davis's leadership at Jenny Reed. Congratulations. Do you have a guest? All right, thank you. Congratulations. Next, we would like to ask Ms. Jessica Rhodes to please stand. Jessica? Ms. Jessica Rose joins the Lomax Junior High staff as the new principal for the 24-25 school year. Ms. Rose has most recently served the district as the assistant principal at James H. Baker 6th grade campus and associate principal at Lomax Junior High. She holds a bachelor's and master's degree from Texas A&M University Commerce. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Rose to her new role. You have any guests? There you go. Thank you. Congratulations. Next, we'd like to introduce the new assistant principal at Bayshore Elementary, Miss Sadie Sandoval. Would you please stand? Miss Sadie Sandoval joins Bayshore Elementary as the new assistant principal for the 24-25 school year. Miss Sandoval, a LaPorte graduate, has been an English language arts teacher at Baker 6th grade campus for 6 years and has also been a part of our Aspiring Leadership Academy. She holds a bachelor's degree from Sam Houston State University and a master's degree from Lamar University, and we look forward to Sadie's leadership at Bayshore. Congratulations. You have a guest?
This is my granny.
Wow. Oh, wow.
This is my mom, also a LaPorte graduate.
Oh, wow. Miss Martha Torres, please stand. Let's give her a hand. I'm proud to introduce Miss Martha Torres as the new assistant principal at College Park Elementary. Ms. Torres, also a LaPorte graduate, holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Houston, Clear Lake, and a master's degree from Lamar University. She comes to us with 10 years of experience as an assistant principal in Houston ISD. Please join me in welcoming back home Miss Martha Torres to the LaPorte family. Do you have a guest?
So I brought my daughter, Adela Torres, also a LaPorte graduate.
Oh, wow. At this time, we'd like to introduce and ask Miss Laura Ramos to please stand. Laura? Board, we'd like to welcome Ms. Laura Ramos as the new assistant principal at Jenny Reed. Ms. Ramos comes to LaPorte from Pasadena ISD, where she has served as an interventionist and a bilingual literacy coach. She holds a bachelor's and master's degree from the University of Houston Clear Lake. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Ramos to LaPorte. Do you have guests?
Well, just a little. My husband, our 3 children, my sisters, and my mom.
Ask them to stand. Ms. Carmen Gonzalez. Lord, I introduce to you Ms. Carmen Gonzalez, and she has joined Lomax Junior High as their new assistant principal. Ms. Gonzalez joins LaPorte from Sheldon ISD, where she served most recently as a student support administrator and a district literacy coach. She holds a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, both from the University of Houston Clear Lake. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Gonzalez to LaPorte ISD. You have guests?
I have my husband, Vincent, my son is friends for 10,000 years. And Mom Farmer, who's one of my first principals. My father was my first principal. He's stuck with me forever.
All right, joining the LaPorte High School leadership team are 4 new assistant principals. Miss Jessica Benight joins the LaPorte. Please stand, Jessica. Let's give her a hand. Jessica joins the LaPorte High School team from Texas City ISD, where she served as campus testing coordinator. She also comes to us with experience as a school counselor, assistant principal, and teacher and coach. She holds a bachelor's degree from Angelo State University and a master's degree from Lamar University. And we look forward to Jessica helping with the leadership team at LaPorte High School. Let's give her a hand. You have a guest?
This is Jackson. This is my son, and he is 7 years old.
Hi, Jackson.
That's the only other person I know other than myself that went to Angelo State University, so I'm very excited about that. I thought it was a real school, but they thought I made it up.
Board, we'd like to welcome home Mr. Joe Cornett. Joe, he's already in. Joe returns to LaPorte High School to serve as an assistant principal after serving in a similar role in Crosby ISD. Mr. Cornett served at LaPorte as a math teacher and coach, and was a member of our Aspiring Leadership Academy. He holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Houston Clear Lake and a master's degree from Stephen F. Austin State University. Please join me in welcoming Joe back home. You have visitors, Joe? Okay. Mr. Ernesto Benitez. All right, let's give it up for him. Ernesto joins the LaPorte High School team from Goose Creek Consolidated ISD, where he has served as an assistant principal. He holds a bachelor's and master's degree from the University of Houston Clear Lake. Mr. Benitez is eager to begin a leadership role in LaPorte ISD, and we are excited to have him here. Let's give him a hand again. Do you have guests, sir? All right, thank you. Miss Erin Arnett. Miss Erin Arnett. Ms. Erin Arnett is also joining the LaPorte High School team as an assistant principal. Ms. Arnett also comes to us from Goose Creek, where she most recently served as district behavior management interventionist with a rich background in special education. She holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Texas at San Antonio and a master's degree from Lamar University. And we welcome Ms. Arnett to the LaPorte family. Do you have guests?
Yes.
Sure, introduce it. All right. All right. Let's give them all a round of applause again. All right, Mr. President, at this time, I'd like to call up our HR Executive Director, Paula Jackson. Under the superintendent's report, she will give you just a brief update on hiring this season.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, you forgot.
Did I have two more?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Sit down, Paula.
It's the first meeting.
I am so sorry. It's the first meeting after a long time, okay? Our academics team welcomes Dr. Angela Michelle Baker. Please stand, Angela. I'm so sorry for missing that last page. I apologize. All right? As the new CT Career and Technical Education Coordinator, Dr. Baker joins LaPorte ISD from Humble ISD, where she served as a CTE coordinator and also as a teaching background in health science. She earned a bachelor's degree and Doctor of Chiropractic Medicine from the Texas Chiropractic College. So I might come see you soon. And a master's degree from the University of St. Thomas. We're excited to have Dr. Baker's experience leading our CTE efforts in the Porte ISD. Welcome one more time. Do you have guests?
Bill and Ando's here, and then my mother and father-in-law.
Oh, wow. And last but certainly not least, I'm proud to introduce Mr. Blake Warren, our new Director of Maintenance and Facilities. Let's give it up for Blake. Blake is joining us as the new Director of Maintenance and Facilities for LaPorte ISD. Mr. Warren joins us from Friendswood ISD, where he has served the maintenance department for 8 years, most recently as the department supervisor. He holds an Associate of Applied Science in Construction Management from San Jacinto College. We look forward to Mr. Warren's leadership in the district. Welcome, sir. Do you have guests?
Yeah, I have my older sister, Heather. She's right here in the blue.
Everything she knows, she works for me.
She's special needs teacher over in Pasadena ISD, so I think she deserves her own round.
There you go. Thank you, sir, and welcome. Now let's give it up for everybody one more time.
Is that everybody? We're good? So everybody that was voluntold to be here, you are free to leave as well. And everybody that's joining our family, welcome.
You're good now, Paula.
Paula? This time for real.
I'll just do that.
No, it's live right now. It's live right now.
Here, right here, stay.
I'll let it, it's live.
All right.
Okay, for real this time.
Okay. All right. Well, good evening, President Hanks and Board of Trustees and Dr. Jackson. I'm happy to come before you tonight to just give you a little bit of information about our hiring updates for the summer session and also just some other information that I think you'll find interesting. But again, just so proud of our new administrators. As we can see, we just have a lot of family support surrounding these individuals. And not only that, but we have great support from our team for these new people's success, so we're happy for them. All right, I'm going to begin with just talking to you a little bit about our spring recruiting efforts. As we geared up for our hiring season this year, we had lots of opportunities to meet candidates and connect with great people. So first, we attended 19 university and area job fairs so that we could go to different universities around the state to connect with prospective applicants, and we actually did have several new hires that came out of those job fairs, so that was great that we were able to secure some great teachers. And then we also hosted 2 district job fairs here in LaPorte ISD. Some of you may have attended those events, but they were well attended by candidates, and again we had several candidates that were hired for some of our open positions through those in-district job fairs. Our campus leadership teams were there represented, and were able to conduct interviews just right there on the spot and kind of start that process right away. we're very happy to offer those and definitely want to continue doing that. We also relied on our district and campus social media efforts to help get the word out about our openings, and also to, once those people were hired, really celebrate them and recognize them on their campus websites with their name and their picture, and just really welcome them into the LaPorte family. So that was just a kind of an update of our recruiting efforts this spring and early summer. And then that takes us into some staffing updates that I want to just provide you with. I've got several graphs here, so we'll just look at the first one, the one on the top, teachers and professionals. And so I've given you information for the first, obviously, top row is the 24-25 school year. We hired 61 teachers this year, 21 professionals, for a total of 82 new employees. And just for clarification, when we talk about professionals, we mean administrators, counselors, diagnosticians, anyone who holds a professional certificate, that would account for that 21. So 82 total hired. But then if you start to look down at 23, 24, 22, 23, you start to see some larger numbers. And so we are happy that we're on a downward trend. We certainly don't want to have 61 vacancies, but we're definitely, what this data tells us is that we're holding on to our staff, and that we're having to hire less and less teachers because more of our people are staying. So as you remember, 22, 23, that was coming off the heels of COVID, when there was just a kind of a nationwide issue of, that great resignation, people like leaving their jobs and not knowing what they wanted to do next. And so we're very happy that we're kind of coming out of that, and just really happy that we're retaining our teachers and professionals. And then on the bottom left corner, you see our first-year teacher data. What that means is just what it says. It's a first-year teacher who's coming in with no experience, brand new. And this year we've hired 13 teachers that are with 0 years of experience. They're ready to come in for their first year. And so we're ready to support them with our first-year teacher academy that's going to provide them support along with their campus administrative team. But you can see that the last 2 years we've hired close to 40 new teachers each of those years. And again, we're happy to have those. We want to grow them and help them learn our LaPorte way and be vested in our district. But what that tells us is that we're hiring teachers that have more experience. And that's only going to be better for our students and for those teams on the campuses. And so we're going to just continue to support those first-year teachers and make sure they're set up for success. And then lastly, on this slide, I've just given you some information about our retirees. We always think, well, how many people retired this year or last year? And so just broken up by teachers and professionals, our data pretty much has stayed similar the past 3 years, around 15-ish, less than 20, that decide it's the time to end their career and move on to do what they want to do. And so I want to just provide you with that data there. And then lastly, just wanted to give you some information about our special education staffing and hires, just again related to kind of our last few years. So over on the left, special education teachers that we hired this year, we hired 8. And just encompassing special education teachers, we talk about everybody from resource inclusion that offers that support all the way to our program teachers with focus, BSP, SAIL, and early childhood special education. So again, we're seeing that same kind of downward trend in how many of those staff members we're hiring, which means we're holding on to those teachers, and they're staying with us. So that's great news. And then over on the right side, I just provided some information about our paraprofessionals. Again, these are ones who work anywhere from inclusion setting going into classrooms, but also our program paras, which we've had a lot of discussion about the last few months in our board meetings and in our work. We don't really see a decline in that number, but I do want to share that, like for example, this year our special education student numbers are increasing. I know Ms. Trader has shared that information. More students are being identified, so we're able to service more students, which means we need more paras to help in those classrooms. And so additionally with that, earlier in the summer, the board very generously had discussions and approved some pay grade increases for those program paras. And then also that stipend that they will receive once they're employed. So we're very grateful for that, and we do believe that that's going to show some additional retention because that's just setting value on them. Not only do we value that hard work that they do, those are challenging roles, and we're hoping that we can see some improved data for that, but I wanted to share that information with you for that. So that concludes the information I wanted to share. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take those.
Just one. Are we asking people whenever they apply for a job how they heard about the position that they're applying for? Is that a line item on the application?
It is, and you know, most of them would be either through our website or maybe from a job fair. Some hear about it from colleagues. Some see about us on social media. You know, lots of people that we interview will say, you know, they'll reference Dr. Jackson, for instance, you know, because they've seen the great things and the culture that he's and our team has built in the district, so they're anxious to do that. We've heard a lot of that from our administrators who applied with us.
I wish there was a way to reward, because if there's a teacher working for the Porte ISD and they like it so much to try to recruit other people, that if they did say an employee referred them, if we could maybe, we probably can't give them a monetary reward, but send them an email, thank you for referring some, if they get hired. I mean, and maybe ultimately next year or something we can do something for those people for a good referral.
That's a great idea. We'll make a note of that and absolutely look into that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Anybody else? Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Okay, thank you for your time and appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is Ms. Jackson's first time in front of you as the Executive Director of HR. Good job.
We'll now move to item 7B, the school nutrition update.
Good evening, President Hanks, School Board, and LP Community. How's it going?
You really do look sharp.
That bad on the rest of the time.
You got that man doing things.
I had no idea. I'm the only person in
You got a couple 99s, you're all over here.
So you came in on Sunday, dry cleaners yesterday? Community, I am Ralph Wilkins. I'm proud to be your Director of School Nutrition. I just have a quick update for you tonight on some things we've been up to. Your award stole my thunder for the last slide, so I guess you know what I'm going to talk about. So
Could you add some extra letters behind your name, though? We might give you more credentials.
I can use them all. There's a limit for how insecure you are with how much you want to add back to your name. So first off, you can see it's a very dangerous profession. We have extinct animals that come through and really want some milk. So some of my favorite photos, despite being a COVID era photo, I always like to include that. So this department is completely dedicated to student success. I know our main goal is to provide meals to kids, but we are dedicated and engaged with making sure that the principals and their teachers and their kids have a good day. And whatever that requires of us, we're always willing to provide. I charge the teams and myself with making sure their day goes smoothly before ours does. There's nothing I can't work out in the background with regulations and rules that should prevent us from serving those teachers if they walk up, I need this now, we do it, and we work the rest out later on. We are here to make sure that the campuses have what they need. We have about 65 cafe workers, and that includes about 5 or 6 subs rotating in and out depending on the needs of the department and the menu. We have 13 cafe managers, you met most of them tonight, 2 are at the high school. And we have 5 office staff. You can see the numbers of how many meals we served last year in various categories. We strive to increase that number. Our goal is to get kids to participate. We think we'll get a few more this year for some reason. Not sure why, but there's a few more kids. And lastly, and I could have made this a whole slide, but we are big on local foods and nutrition education. We have won, I think we put out for 5 years in a row, but I think the state called me and said, oh, it's like 9 years. You got the award for local foods production in Texas. It's kind of our thing now. We've gotten really good at it. Ms. Yarborough, plans a local food October and all year long, and that's what the state recognized us for recently in Austin, was for that we don't just do it in October, we keep it going all year long. This year we're excited to go as local as we can because we're starting hydroponics, lettuce, and other vegetable labs in schools. So what's more local than right down the hallway, right? And transportation costs are very low when it's just 3 doors down, right? It's very quick to get. We don't need trucks. And we like to do nutrition education. In the office, we have 3 people with nutrition degrees. We have a breadth of experience. We love being in the classroom, not just to teach the kids about nutrition and health and science, but to build those connections that when we're walking around the cafeteria, they'll tug on our sleeve and, oh, Mr. Wilkins, I love this thing. When you come back to our class, Ms. Yarbrough, thanks for putting this on the menu. I've never had this before. Those connections start in the classrooms where kids see us outside of our walking around just looking, hey, what are you eating? What are you throwing away there? What do you enjoy about our meals? They're more apt to engage with us. So we love nutrition education. We love being in the classrooms. And the last slide, the big news, of course, for this year is that we have partnered with USDA's Community Eligibility Provision. I usually get that wrong. CEP. So when you hear we get free meals by virtue of CEP, that's what it stands for. Breakfast and lunch are free for all students. There is nothing a parent has to do or even can do to try to do something to stop them. We don't need anything. It's literally, there's no barrier to these kids receiving their meals. And it reduces, eliminates negative balances and eliminates applications. I don't like writing it that way. It eliminates stigma and labels and things we don't like. That the worst part of our job was having to worry about a child having money to give what we came to provide with love and dedication. So it's nice to have that albatross around our necks and the students and the families. We can just focus on being fast. And I'd like to plug that we are helpful to students even if you continue to pack meals from home. We participate in the OVS program, meaning a student who comes through does not have to get the full tray. So say a student who does pack an entree from home can come through and get just a milk and a fruit and a vegetable and walk away. So we can supplement even parents who want to pack their meals. They can come to the line and benefit from us participating in CEP. We welcome them. We're going to try to put out more marketing and advertising about that. I wanted to announce it here in front of the board first before we get out there. But I'll make T-shirts, just 3 and it's free.
3 and it's free.
Yeah. We want people to come through the line, even if you brought them from home, we can benefit you. And the kind of the far-reaching aspect of going CEP is, without meal applications, we don't have a efficient way of collecting the socioeconomic data of our community. So soon the district will release a survey for that simple, I think it's 4 questions maybe, ma'am? Survey to help us gather that data so we can keep our accountability and reporting and some of our special funding like E-rate and Comp Ed. The reason we haven't released it yet is I want to make sure in this public forum I stated unequivocally that survey is in no way related to somebody's eligibility to get free meals. They are separate entities, and you do not have to do one to get the other. But we do encourage every parent, even if you've never needed to apply for the free meal program, to do that survey and take a chance on benefiting the district and helping us keep some of the funding in areas that might lower without the meal applications. And that'll be an email going out soon, I believe. Thank you. And that's it. I think I've seen all my slides. There we go. That's it. Do you have any questions for me, Dr. Jackson?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Does being on this program, does it change the menu any? Or
only for the better. In that we can, some of the time we devoted to the less savory aspects of meal debt and all those terrible things cannot be devoted to putting those funds towards a better use. Digital desk here. We are still partnered, we are still bound by the constraints of the National School Lunch Program. That's the sodium limits, the saturated fat, all those things that, although they make menuing a struggle, it's for the health of the kids. So I don't ever really complain about it. I came in after that even started, so to me it's always been that way. And as a dietitian, I feel it's our duty to make sure meals are safe and healthy and take these students, and promote a healthy student body, pun intended.
Just checking, just didn't want to make sure it's not going to change anything. They're going to get cheaper food or cheaper.
Oh, not at all,
that
sir.
nature, so.
Yes, no, sir. No, everything. There will be no difference in that aspect, or really any aspect.
Teachers still have to pay?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. I need to get that out there. Yeah, for students only. Yeah.
Just checking.
Unfortunately.
I just want to say thank you. I know, I understand it's a very arduous process to go through this. I've had teachers that work for us but have kids in other districts that are really jealous that their district's not doing it. And so again, I appreciate you guys doing it, like taking the time. It's monumental. Is it something that, is it a year by year, or once you're in the system, is it easier for us to apply for it going forward?
It's a 4-year cycle. demographics here would have to change drastically and suddenly for us not to get it. But I don't want to take the thunder out of saying it again next year. So we gotta keep trying, sir. We'll see. But
Don't mess up the chicken fried steak. It'll be fine.
not at all. We keep a box just for you, sir. Just Martin, we don't touch it. And with that being said, sir, I would like to say this, because of the far-reaching aspects of losing those applications, I would like to take a chance and say, for everybody, that I've had nothing but support from the administration, from Dr. Jackson and Dr. Brown. She's here, I overheard her thank you email, and Dow and Dr. Bromley. Everybody's been on board from the start saying, well, just make it happen. I'm very fortunate as a director to not come up against some of the obstacles that could be there, that are reasonable to be there, but I have nothing but support, so I want to say thank you to everybody involved. And from principals and everyone else. It's been great.
Thank you for going through it. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I think that Adam can probably give you a little bit more of an idea of, this was probably the most shared information.
400 and change.
It's like 447 shares, I think, was the last time I looked at it on social media, or on just Facebook alone. This is huge for our district. It's huge for our students. This is amazing, so thank you.
I'm glad to have one more benefit to being here. This is one of many, I tell people, of being a student here in LP.
One, I know that you had mentioned you wish Ms. Deanne was here to see it. She called me. She was very excited when the program got announced. So know that her excitement is there.
I feel it.
Yeah, she's probably sipping wine in Colorado right now, but that's okay. Second one, I wanted to mention, it was very neat last year. I think Miss Whedon's kids at Jenny Reed got to go on a field trip to taste foods and try foods out for the upcoming year. They went and did that last year. I think it was early Ag students. That was a really cool program. I didn't know that anybody even did that. But they went and tried foods, and they all came back. And I happened to see them at a meeting after. The kids could barely walk. They were so full and tired. But all they raved about was how good the food was and how they got to try it. And most people don't get to do that program, so that was very neat.
Got to start planning that again today. Actually, we have a lot. I could have had a whole other slide of the things we're working on. Field trips to hydroponic farms that will give kids another idea of what farming is, and seeing that there's local producers literally in a warehouse down the road. They wouldn't know, and we have a lot in store. It's going to be a good year.
Well, this board loves you and your team, so thank you for the work.
And your enthusiasm.
Yeah, and the soup.
Next time, bring cookies.
I do want to, I do want to acknowledge, Dr. Jackson and I had a conversation about you last week. And we were sitting there watching you work, and you've always been someone that works in the shadows and just quietly takes care of things.
I prefer that,
but it does not go unnoticed. And obviously, I'm excited for you to have this opportunity to step out of the shadows and show your face. But you do a remarkable job for this district day in, day out. As Melissa just alluded to it, your energy is infectious. Your positivity, it's exactly what we need in this district. So just keep being you, and we appreciate you a whole lot.
Well, sir, thank you very much. I'll try. I've got a great team behind and in front of me. I'm lucky.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let's talk money.
That was the easiest presentation a director ever had to give. That was very good.
Would have been better if we had the plate in front of us.
Get ready for the dog questions.
Stop that, bro.
Follow up that.
Follow that up.
You maybe put a suit on or something.
Where's your tie?
I know that's been a year and a half of work there, Ralph, and with your team, so congratulations again on that. Good evening, President Hanks, Board of Trustees, Dr. Jackson here for the monthly update as it relates to bond projects. And tonight to talk briefly about an update of a policy that is on an action item for your discussion later in the agenda. Summer projects have come to an end for a minute because we'll start to fire some of these back up once school gets going. But the maintenance department and some other entities that have helped us have really done a lot of tremendous work over the summer. Very proud of all those guys. We've got a lot of painting done throughout the summer. If you've been by LPJ, it's a whole different campus. We've got graphics going in. Playgrounds are wrapping up. We still got a couple areas that they've got to put the sun sails on, so those are coming quickly. Stages have been worked on. We've completed Jenny Reed and Rizzuto. Whether they're getting brand new flooring put down or they've come in at Jenny Reed and they sanded the floor and completely refinished it with new curtains and new sound and new lights. So Again, just a lot going on. I'm not going to spend a tremendous amount of time on it, but there's some pictures there for you. Just super proud. As you said here with the boardroom updates, Mr. Rocky and Fred were announced tonight. Those guys literally did that by themselves. Literally in here doing it by themselves. So super proud. I know we got new audio, so we're all getting used to it. Those mics are hot, right? Non-stop. But as we move, this is kind of phase one in here. We will kind of wrap up and continue to work as we close out and things on those orders. But again, in a very comfortable place as we start the school year as far as what we look like. The grounds look good. We put some mulch down this last week as we move around the district, and excited for the kids to come tomorrow and come to a place with some good curb fit. All right, moving on to Bulldog Stadium Development Complex. It's moving and shaking. We are, when Hurricane Beryl came through, look, when the electricity was able to come back on, those guys were out there working. So they really never stopped, and we didn't lose much electricity out there because they got so many generators running. But it is moving and shaking. The most current things as you look out there is the field's starting to take shape. They're starting to level it. The lime stabilizer will soon be put on, and then that process will start. The turf won't go down soon, but they're going to start to get that stable. They've got to take some soil tests, look at that geotech to ensure all that's used. We were blessed with what we took out of the earth, and at some point we had it across the street, we had it some other places, but we were able to reuse that dirt. So that's a big cost savings to us because we didn't have to ship that off and bring in new dirt. But the field process is beginning. Press box is continuing to take shape with the metal paneling wrapping around. They're starting to put sheetrock in the inside of the press box. So that's coming together, and that is important because we did get our transformer. That is big for us. We were expecting that in October. So when we've got that has arrived, and they're actually installing that. So that allows us to get things off the ground. And allow chillers to start being used, and we get AC in those facilities. You can't put that sheetrock up, and it's got to be conditioned at a certain level, otherwise you get mold. We know that being here on the bay, it's even more intense. But you can see some of the stair steps are going up. All that's ADA components that we talked about and discussed over time. Detailing at the video display, the video monitor, and you can see kind of what that is looking like. The seat backs are going to go in soon. You can kind of see we've got that LP that's kind of mimicked out with those color seats. There'll be some orange in there in the end that'll come out as LP, and then just some other graphics. Average man count is up to 216 men. We were working out about 160, but they've raised that up, and we're working some Saturdays, so they're trying to get us as quick as possible. But of course, we want to ensure we're getting quality work and we're not cutting any corners and missing anything as we go. Any questions on any of the bond component, stadium, or next projects? So tonight, later, in an action item in discussion, we put policy FFAC in front of you. And I know you're aware this, Doc, is kind of communicated to you, but we kind of got a red alert here about a week ago. It wasn't even that long ago, a couple days ago, from the Nurses Board, Texas Nurses Board, pertaining to how we handle medicine on our campuses. Our current policy, FFAC local, which is in compliance, clearly let me say this, which is in compliance with TEA, states that we can allow parent approval, parent note, for any over-the-counter medicine, Tylenol, those type of things. Any narcotic or any type of prescription has to come from a doctor, but if it's over-the-counter, we've always taken that, Neosporin, different things like that. Well, the Texas Board of Nurses sent out notification that that was wrong, and we're in a conflict because they're threatening our nurses, but TEA says we're okay. So there's that conflict. So they sent that out. It's there for you, and really the big piece there, they're essentially saying that it doesn't matter if it's over the counter or if it's prescription. Not only do you have to have the parent's approval, but you have to have doctor's note. So that conflicts with what our policy says, right? And they put at the very end, as you can see up there, failure to do so may result in disciplinary action with our nurses and how they're licensed. So it puts us in a difficult position. Obviously, we grabbed Billy's team, Julie and I, Dr. Jackson. We started immediately to work with the nurses to see kind of where and what we could do. So tonight, obviously, we're recommending to move forward with notification Monday to the families, letting them know that we will move in light of requesting doctor's notes for all of those things to be compliant as an administrative guideline, since policy truly doesn't reflect that yet. If you bless the approval tonight of the revision, which we'll talk about later, the next in September it would come for an adoption. And then our policy would reflect both over-the-counter as well as prescription to have doctor's notes. So we can speak on that later, but I just wanted to kind of provide a little note on what that looks like. This was totally out of left field. Billy and I got an email and we were going, what is this? Like a packet this big. So the care life and the nurses do a wonderful job, and the last thing we want to do is put them at harm's way, because they live in two worlds, right? They're RNs, and over here they have a set of expectations in animal school side.
So Dr. Bromley, how does that affect the consent medication for rank 1 for athletes and stuff like that that they sign on rank 1? It says you're allowed to give them medication.
It'll be the same.
Same thing.
Yep.
And we've consulted with area districts and both local and districts from across the state, because everybody's dealing with this right now. So.
Yeah, and generally terms everybody's going to revise their, edit their policy and putting that in, just to protect their nurses. But yes, it will fall under that entire umbrella because it all goes back to that policy, which I know it's difficult and, it's conflicting thoughts on that. Yeah. Any other questions on FFAC?
The only thing I don't see that they've included in here, which may just be something we have to ask, eye drops and things like that, of that nature. It's not listed as one of those items, but, there are some that are technically medicated or whatever, so,
Right.
even the unprescribed, the ones that don't have a prescription with them, students.
Well, it says topical, would that be topical?
Yeah,
I think that's just giving you like ideas of what it could, such as.
There is an entire gamut of what they
Exhaustive
decided us.
list.
I took a snippet because it's so much, but I would assume that would fall under this. Yeah. Okay. Any questions?
The doctors.
Yeah, well, we want to make sure we go through in steps, but we're going to have to
Right.
explain to parents that they're going to have to.
Yeah,
Yes.
and doctors
Yeah, I
need to
agree.
understand that this is
Right.
a requirement.
Correct.
Any other questions, board? Thank you, Dr. Conley. Okay, board, we are not going to take action or discuss E, our accountability update, as the state has delayed those findings. So we're going to move on to item A, consent agenda. Unless removed from the consent agenda, items identified within this consent agenda will be acted on at one time. All right. The consent agenda. A, determine and approve any consent agenda items. B, approve board meeting minutes. 1, regular board meeting minutes, June 11th, 2024. 2, special board meeting minutes, June 19th, 2024. 3, special board meeting minutes, June 24th, 2024. C, notice of employment of professional staff. D, receive financial reports for June 2024. E, receive quarterly investment report for June 2024. F, receive a report of cooperative fees paid to the Porte ISD. G, receive 2023-2024 School Health Advisory SHAC report. H, adopt a resolution number 2024-12 to pay employees for missed workdays due to Hurricane Beryl. I, approve budget amendment. J, approve certified debt collection rate. K, approve disposal of obsolete district property. L, approve interlocal contract with the University of Houston Clear Lake. M, approve memorandum of understanding of rental agreement with Deer Park ISD. N, approve proposals of supplemental professional development, consultants, and related services and materials. O, approve purchase of Chevrolet Suburban vehicles. P, approve purchase of library furniture for College Park Elementary. Q, approve purchase of playground fall protection for Bayshore Elementary. R, approve second reading and adopt TASB Local Policy Update 123. S, approve 2024-2025 LaPorte Independent School District Code of Conduct. T, approve.
We need to make those changes. We need to make some changes.
Okay, so approve 2024-2025 LaPorte Independent School District Student Handbook. U, approve 2024-2025 Texas Teacher Evaluation and Support System, T-TESS, appraiser calendar, and T-TESS list of teacher appraisers.
Mr. President, we also pull item D.
D?
Yep.
Okay. Can you read back the consent agenda?
Mr. President, the consent items to be approved are item A, B, C, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, NOPQRU.
All right, good. All right, so we will go to vote on that consent agenda. Do you have a motion? Approve consent agenda? Mr. Shopping?
Second.
Second by, where's that? Mason? Call for the vote. It is unanimous. Thank you, board. So we'll go to our first pulled item D. Mr. Martin?
You don't have to get on. I want to make a public comment and commend you and your team because I know that this is the first time in several years we've had a deficit budget, but it's much lower. I went back and looked at it. I think our adopted budget was 8.5. We ended up at 4.5, but sometime in the middle of the year it got up to 10.5 was what the expected deficit would be. So again, I just want to publicly say I had total faith in you guys the whole time. I know, that's a lot of pressure, but I knew you guys would come through, and I appreciate the work y'all did. Again, nobody wants a deficit, but to save us $6 million is monumental. So I just want to publicly say thank you to the work you and your team did to make that happen.
Yes, thank you.
Great job.
Thank you
Great job.
very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Board, any further discussion? I seek a motion.
So moved.
Mason, I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Call for the vote. And it is unanimous. Thank you, board. Now move to item S, approve the 2024-2025 LaPorte Independent School District Student Code of Conduct.
So, okay, so the big question I had was, in the code of conduct, there is a section that talks about selling, giving, or delivering to another person or possesses, uses, or is under the influence of marijuana, THC. But it says a student with a valid prescription for low THC cannabis is authorized by Chapter 487 of the Health and Safety Code does not violate this provision. I can understand that they don't violate the provision of being under the influence. However, that section looks like if they were caught dealing or selling or giving or whatever, they would not be in violation. So the language there, I think, needs to be clearer because parents will use that one. Hey, he's got,
So with understood, and we can definitely review it, report it, and switch it up a bit. But typically, those pieces are mandatory placements, and they come directly based off legislation from TASB, which is the model that we base it off of. So we definitely locally can change that or adjust it, but I think there's a piece in there that, and I could get with Chris to confirm.
I think we need to talk to TASB too,
Yeah,
just about
'cause
the language of it.
I could just see that the way it looks, it's like, oh, if I have this prescription, I can carry it around with me all day and give it to my friend.
Correct. Absolutely.
So,
So that's something we can definitely review and bring back.
Okay.
And confirm that we're.
In compliance with it.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
and then for the handbook,
We'll take action on
Oh,
this.
sorry.
It's okay. Any further questions?
that was the only one on that.
Not a question, more of a comment, and it's to say publicly what we said earlier. If it's in the book, we need to enforce it. And I think that this board and the rest of the administration are willing to support it and go through it. We've all read the Code of Conduct and the handbook. And if you have a nose piercing at Jenny Reed Elementary and you have a nose piercing at Bay Shore I shouldn't have picked random names. That was no real meaning there. But those were on my mind. We need to be consistent. You do not need to have two different rules at two different campuses, and it makes us all look bad, and it makes us all look weak, and it drives me crazy.
Well, and as an educator.
And it does, it's for the students, it's for the staff, it's for everybody. If it's in the book, let's follow